Live.
We're live.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us in here. Welcome to Old Carver Fishing Podcast. I'm Luke. Today, we're here in Old Carver Bait and Tackle Shop in Carver, Minnesota. Almost butchered that one.
Where are we again?
It's been a while. It's been like a week. But it is a beautiful spring day once again. Is it summer now or is it spring still?
It's
Still
been
spring.
Summer. What?
Spring. It's spring.
It's June.
2 more weeks.
Flatheads are about to spawn.
What?
It's getting close.
It's summer, isn't it?
No, June 20th.
That's Lily. Lily
Lily.
is one of our
Hey.
special guests. She's a Weimaraner.
She's guarding the shop from intruders right now.
Yep,
very poorly though.
The Weimaraner.
the Weimaraner.
Anyways, we are here at Old Carver Bait and Tackle Shop in Carver, Minnesota. To my left here, we have Tara Lindsay, Tara Fishing on TikTok World, and Rods and Reloads on YouTube, as well as myself. I'm Luke Henches, Rods and Reloads. Next to me,
What's his name again?
his name's Chewy Godinez Jr. He has many nicknames, but today he's just Chewy. You good with that? Go ahead.
What's your favorite nickname?
No, I'm checking to see if your mom's on.
He is the co-owner. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. He is the co-owner
I
of
hope your mom heard that.
Old Carver
I
Bait.
really do hope your mom just.
Hi, Michelle.
Mom, are you on? She
She's
is.
here.
No.
She is.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
She
yeah.
don't
Oh
miss
yeah.
it. She
It
don't
wasn't,
miss
it wasn't me this time.
By the way, Miss, that's the way he treats me all the time.
Oh.
I can confirm that. I can confirm that.
This-
Yeah, I can confirm.
This relationship is not gonna work
You don't
out.
even know how it is, guys. Chewy's the co-owner of Old Carver Bait and Tackle Shop in Carver, Minnesota. Stoked Custom Baits. Next to him, we have an Old Carver pro staffer. His name's Dan Olson. Call him Danny Two Cats, Danny Two Naps, Danny Two Digs, Danny Dances. There's a lot of nicknames in the Dan world. And then next to him is our guest for this evening. It is Richard Parris of Apex Predator. Is that the right? Did I say your name right? Is that okay? Keep it short.
I go by Rick, but
Rick.
Rick Parris.
my dad's on Facebook, otherwise it gets really confusing.
Mm.
So I had to kind of.
Rick Parris, we got. You got talking to your mic too.
It's scary.
He's the owner of Apex Predator. He is I would say, terminal tackle and fishing rod company. Is that a?
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to do. He's a
More terminal tackle than
big retailer, and he's in our shop as well. So we've
Yeah.
had his stuff in here for a while, and
Just dropped off 8 reels on what was that Sunday?
Sunday.
yeah, we sold all the other ones.
Sold out.
of the
Saturday?
spinning reels.
Baitcasters?
Spinning
Spinning.
with bait feeders
Spinning.
on them.
Sure.
And I know Chewy was excited to have you in here, so we're gonna let Chewy get off with the questions on tonight's podcast. I know he had a big list written up.
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll keep going.
Yep. You know what's good for you.
Chewy, I expected better. That's how you treat all your guests.
No.
Anyways, where did you get the idea of starting Apex?
You know, I started fishing rivers again 3 years ago, and there was just a day I was out there, and I was just in a bad fishing spot in the spring, and there was a lot of current, and I broke off and lost 2 packs of Gamakatsu J hooks, and then a bunch of lead and a bunch of tackle. And in my mind, I'm like, I think I just literally threw $50 into the river.
Yep.
And I got back. I was already selling tungsten jigs, before that I was importing, and I got home and I'm like, if I get tungsten jigs for the price I get them for, I bet I can find like some of this terminal tackle that for a much better deal and kind of pass that along. And that's kind of where it started, was with the hooks. And then after that, just started adding things here and there. I think the next big thing was like the catfish rattles, and then the fluorocarbon leader line's been pretty popular. Some of the newer stuff like the bump boards have been really, really popular. I know you guys.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, they work great.
Yep.
They're really sweet.
Portable.
Yeah, and they're nice and wide to measure big fish.
Yep.
It's easy to get a good measurement on them. And then like the ice rods for sturgeon fishing, people really like that option of being able to get a rod for under $50 that's capable of catching a really big fish like that. And when otherwise you're looking at usually mostly customs for in the $100 to $150 range. I mean, the Mac rods work good too.
Yeah,
but
my first was a Mac, but I agree. I remember starting out and I was like, what rod do I even get for nice sturgeon?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those Mac rods are really nice. I
Mhm.
have one. I have a 45-inch extra heavy, but
Yeah.
and it's just kind of adding things here and there. We've got 14-aught hooks will be coming next, so that'll be probably about a month or so out, maybe a little bit more. But we're gonna have 14-aught J hooks and circle hooks in the same style, like with the offset.
What are you hooking with a 14-aught?
12-inch
12-inch drum, maybe. All sorts of stuff. I mean, the guys out west are really excited. They're fishing with 2 to 3 pound shad, so like having a bigger hook is kind of a big deal for them.
Yeah.
But I got plenty of guys here, like Mark Hardy said he wants to buy a pack of the 14-aught J hooks.
Well, fuck, I want one.
Yeah,
Catch squirrels in my backyard.
You could too.
I'm sure Chewy will stock them. He probably won't have a ton here, but I'm sure he'll stock them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said out west, how far has Apex Predator gone since you've created it?
So out west, like in Washington and Oregon, Wes has like 3 or 4 shops that have my open water rods and then my hooks. His leaders use my swivels and hooks, and then he uses for sturgeon 300-pound braided line. But we'll go into that, I guess, later. But yeah, my stuff's all over the country. I've got guys in Texas using hooks for alligator gar. I've got guys up in the western part of Washington using them for halibut fishing. It's kind of funny because I get offers from these people all the time to like take me out for like alligator gar in Texas, and then I'll go on their halibut boat, and I really want to do it.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Well, that's how it worked
That'd
out
be
with
fun.
Yeah.
my trip a couple weeks ago, which we'll talk about later. But
That's awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
On
Yeah,
the records-
you got me stuck on talk about it later because I really want to talk
I know, I
about
wanna
it.
dive
No,
into it.
that's like other questions we got. We gotta wait for your friend to come on.
I mean, I guess we could talk about what the fishing's like been around.
No, actually,
here.
I was gonna ask you about your rod design.
Yeah, so it's an S-class rod, which means it's a composite that goes by so many different names. It's kind of, I guess, like the thing now that like is a new thing, but it's really not. Like I think what Mad Cats has a carbine rod now, which is a composite, and then the Hellcats are composite too, aren't they?
Mhm.
And then the Whisker Seekers are too. The original Mad Cats, I believe, are just fiberglass rods. But yeah, so it's an S-class rod. It's got really huge handles. Like the front handle is about 4 inches longer than like a standard cat rod. And then the handle's really overbuilt. It's got a huge reel seat. It's a 7'6" rod, and it's pretty unique in the way that I don't know one in the North American market that actually breaks apart at the handle rather than like halfway through the blank, which I think really helps the action. We'll be showing some pictures later with the rod bent on some pretty big fish. You'll see that it loads up all through the blank, which is really nice. And it's got the stainless steel guides and some really nice detailing, white tip for visibility at night. It's not the classic cat bright colors, but I think it's a sharp looking rod and it's extremely well made. It's caught, I think, Wes's biggest fish on. It's a 97 400 pounder that he caught maybe, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. And then plenty of flatheads out here. I know that Josh Green follows this podcast. He was fishing the King of the Cats with them last year, and he caught some nice flatheads on it. He did really well last year. I think he was in the top 8.
Who did? What was it?
Josh Green.
Oh, okay.
He's a shore guy that fishes mostly, I think, pool too.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I've noticed those shore guys are really putting the hammer on this
they're-
year.
they're-
What's
they're-
going on?
They're crushing them. Like, look at Bill. I mean,
Oh my gosh, he's leading mixed bag and I think flats right now.
Yeah, I think he is. In like last fall for sturgeon from shore, he had every one of his fish in his stringer was over 60 inches from shore.
It's amazing.
and
And Dominic.
Oh yeah.
In I can't say
In
his
a
last
thick-
name. Yeah. That one.
He's always
does
on
well.
fire
Yeah.
though. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
seen a lot of nice fish. Although that's all going to change once people are up on the red doing well for channel cats. Those the leaderboards just go. When are you guys going up? When are you guys going up there?
I don't not
We don't
sure.
know yet.
Not sure. We have a lot of stuff going on, but we're getting there.
It seems like fall. Is that the better time up there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's when I usually see the leaderboards change pretty quick. Is
Yeah.
one of those Red
Doesn't
River
even
guys.
matter now. You don't need to go in the fall because girth doesn't matter anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
We can go
Yeah.
whenever after spawn, which is really soon.
That
So,
was a big,
Okay.
big change.
Why is
there.
that?
well, there's no more girth for King of the Cats competition. It's just length now.
Yeah.
Catching a 36 up there is not very difficult. So,
No.
I think actually there's like 2 or 3 guys from up there that had an average 36-inch stringer last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
if you live up there and you don't have an average 36, you should not fish anymore.
Yeah. I remember when we just got back from Wisconsin, I was leading the King of the Cats leaderboard. Everyone was like, "Oh, that's so awesome!" I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna last maybe 24 to 48
Mhm.
hours."
So you're in
That board-
third.
That's true, but that board just shifts around all the time. Every weekend, something crazy happens.
It's true.
Yeah,
Something crazy's gonna happen tonight.
I'm feeling it.
She said she's been feeling it.
I
So
woke up
we
this
gotta
morning and I was
go.
like, something's different.
I had one of the coolest flashback Snapchat memory things.
Tell us.
This is like every freaking year,
Nice.
Nice catch.
just giant flats in multiples.
Sweet
Like
puppy.
these are the
From today.
well, I have a
This
really
week?
so I saw like 12 deer today. I saw geese flying in flocks. It was weird.
Mosquitoes. I
sick.
The
saw a lot
full
of
moon's
mosquitoes.
gone. I'm pretty
The
pumped.
recipe is right.
Yeah, the river
Mm.
level's correct.
Lots of
is
correct things
correct.
going on here.
It's gonna be a good
Oh,
night.
she wants more attention.
As long as we're packed up on bug spray because the
Amen.
bugs are disgusting out there.
Man, they've been horrible this year. I don't
Let-
know what the difference is there either. The major flood. I don't know.
The bugs have been really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all that like sitting water from where the river flooded.
Oh, the backwater stuff is.
Yeah, like
just
the
a lot of
puddles in the
mosquitoes.
woods.
The
I
gnats
mean,
have never been this bad. I don't remember in a long
it's just
time.
it's a great day to
All
great
day.
year to be a
It
mosquito.
can be 90 degrees,
Year of the
sunny, and
mosquito.
windy, and the gnats are everywhere on your face.
Oh yeah, it was very crabby.
It's brutal.
Fishing.
I was breathing them in on Sunday.
Oh,
Like,
dude, I
just
swallowed so many
terrible.
gnats.
I had
Oh.
jeans, a sweatshirt, and a bug net on my face, my hands in my pocket, and it sounded like Highway 169 buzzing past my.
Did you get?
It was
It's
ridiculous.
horrible.
Did you guys see Heather's pictures?
Yes.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
She had a pretty bad reaction. She was getting bitten on.
Pretty
on the
bad. That's
face.
horrible.
Yeah, my gosh.
Those look like gnat bite reactions.
Yeah, they do.
I took a video
those-
of
those
my
mosquitoes are
brother's
from
head
Compton,
net,
bro.
and I bet he had 200 mosquitoes, like just trying to get into his face.
Yeah,
Right.
It
we
was
went
awesome.
to we tried to go into a backwater last weekend to catch crappie or whatever we could catch back there. We got out and of the boat and walked 2 steps into the woods and we like kept going and all of a sudden I'm like, dude, there's like 200 mosquitoes around you landing on your back.
It's like that scene in Snow
Yeah.
White when
And
she's
when you
singing
like you said, you can hear them around you, but then if you listen closer, you can hear them
above.
above you. Like
Yeah. Like you could have been
humming in
carried
the
around
woods.
by a cloud
I
of
was gonna go
mosquitoes.
mushroom hunting a couple weeks ago, and I made it like 10 feet.
you're like, no thanks.
I was
There's
like,
no mushroom with
Same.
that. There isn't.
no, there really isn't.
Oh, our guest is here.
I need a bubble
Oh.
suit.
By the
Oh,
way,
that's
Scotty,
cool.
Scotty couldn't make it tonight because he was really tired. He went in real early today and he had a long day.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
told him to just chill out, not worried about it.
Scotty.
Yeah. So there's Scotty Ginger, is Nikki.
Yeah, yeah. So Rick, tell us about Wes. Who Wes is?
Yeah. So Wes is from the Tri-Cities area, and he ties custom sturgeon and catfish leaders. His knots are just absolutely beautiful. I don't know if Chewy has a picture available one or not, but I think
can put
Wes.
one up.
I think Wes was going to, when he gets on video, he was going to show a couple of them off. But I mean, his knots are just beautiful and they're so strong. We didn't have to retie one single leader the entire fishing trip when we were out there. And he's just a really nice guy. He likes taking people out who've never gone fishing for sturgeon before. He'll probably talk a little bit about what happened yesterday, but like pretty much every week he's taking people out that have never caught a fish over probably 10 pounds.
Is he
in
a
their life.
guide?
No,
No, I thought he was a guy too. He looked like he was
He's
a guy.
just a good guy.
he is.
Yeah.
He's just a really, really nice stand-up guy that likes putting people on big fish, and
Yep.
he's gotten really good at it. He just started fishing for white sturgeon only a couple of years ago, and
Yeah.
he really knows where to fish for them at certain times of the year. And there's a lot of limitations out there as far as where you can fish, like during the
Mhm.
springtime when they're spawning and things like that. But yeah, he was really creative. We fished 4 completely different areas and did pretty well in almost every one of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, let's get Wes in here.
Hey, Mark, I see that you're on there. Mark was working with Wes and I the second day I was out there.
Oh, wonderful.
He's a
And
really-
you can see that far?
Mr.
Oh,
Mark.
I was looking on my phone.
Welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Or that's
Wes.
That's Wes.
Shit.
And then,
How's it going? Can you guys hear me?
we can.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome.
buddy?
Good. How's it going, Rick? How are you?
It's going good. We're having fun. We didn't really talk about white sturgeon at all until you got on, so we'd have plenty of.
Can you show them that knot? I saw you put it up earlier.
Yeah. So I don't know how well this is going to come up. I haven't actually used the front camera a whole lot, but
Here,
so this is what quite a bit of. Let's see if I can help out here. This is what all of my leaders have on them on the hook side. It's just what we call down here is the standard egg loop, or bait loop, as some other guys call it. But it has proved to be very, very effective in terms of holding squid on. And on the swivel side, I use a uni knot, and that also has proved to be just ridiculously effective. Matter of fact, I've only had one issue with a leader, and that was actually yesterday. And it just had a fray from, we were fishing in a real rocky area, and I don't know if maybe it was from, being up against a rock, or maybe even rubbed against a scoot on a fish's back, or what the deal was. But aside from that, I've never had any problems with them. They've been really, really, really effective.
I mean, I think we caught 35, 40 fish on them that last day I was out there, and not a single issue whatsoever. We didn't have to change out one leader one time. Nothing.
Probably, yeah. I had at one point in time, it wasn't with the same line material that the current leaders use, but at one point I did have a leader that has had approximately 75 fish and over 200 hours underneath the surface of the water catching fish and with bait on it, and it was still going strong.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you primarily fish white sturgeon, right?
Correct. The business is modeled around white sturgeon and catfish, but my main source of joy is catching sturgeon, as Rick has seen in all of my
Yeah.
posts.
You just started fishing sturgeon 2 years ago, right? You didn't start fishing 2 years ago.
Yeah. So the first time that I ever caught a sturgeon was when I was probably like 6 or 7, and I was with my uncle in the same area that I fish now. And then 2 years ago, I had a buddy that was like, "Hey, let's go walleye fishing." And he had dragged along some sturgeon rods with him as well. And after we were done walleye fishing, we threw out some baits for some sturgeon, and that kind of fed the desire a little bit. And then about 6 months later, I think it was, I bought my boat, and I've been chasing them hard ever since.
That's awesome.
When you were walleye fishing, were you fishing the Columbia?
Yeah, same areas basically. Matter of fact, a lot of the time, the walleye fishermen and the sturgeon fishermen are fighting for the same spot.
That happens here too a
It's
lot.
your
Mm.
biggest walleye on the Columbia. I know they're the biggest in the country, so
I think it's the state record's like 26 pounds.
yeah, they're giant.
What's your
My
What?
personal
what's your
best?
biggest?
My personal best is 13.2.
Oh man, that's insane.
That's
And
huge fish.
matter-
Huge fish out there.
matter of fact, I caught that fish on 4-pound line. I was jigging. It was early in the spring. I think it was late February, early March. I was fishing a deep drop and was just drop shotting along, and just felt it load up. And I honestly thought I had like a stick or something like that. And it just came up. There wasn't a fight to it at all. It just came up to the boat.
Wow.
So my brother's been out there a couple times sturgeon fishing, and he says that he asked to go walleye fishing, and they laughed at him. Like, is there a big battle? Like, it's sturgeon or walleye?
The
one or
walleye-
the other?
A lot of guys like the walleye just for the simple fact that they taste amazing, but most people here describe them as fighting like a wet sock.
Yeah.
That's here too. They don't really put up much of a fight.
And my buddy Andy went out there for one week to find a big walleye. He ended up with a 17.2.
My
Yeah,
God.
wintertime is our primary for the big fish, and a lot of the guides will do night trips, and there's some massive fish to get caught. I think I seen one this year that was 34 inches and like 18 pounds.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
man.
stupid huge out there.
Well,
A
you had a couple
walleye?
trips where
Yeah.
you guys got
Yeah, that's
25,
a-
30 fish in the boat,
That's
right?
a dream trip for me, right there.
Yeah,
Like, that sounds
November is a very popular time for jigging deep holes. Most of the time, guys are fishing anywhere from 60 to 130 feet.
For
And
walleye.
I think for walleye, and we
So
had one
every
day.
fish that comes up is dead.
Yeah, is there a limit or how does that work? Or like
There's
what do you call it? A slot?
Slot.
Slot.
Well, it can't be. It's
nope,
fishing
we don't have a
20 feet
slot and we
water.
don't have a limit.
What?
Sounds
Holy.
about
What
right.
is this world?
Okay,
you live
here's the
in?
thing, and I think he'll speak for me on this: is if it's not a white sturgeon or a salmonoid, they don't really care.
And it's half connected to the ocean too, right? Like
Pretty much.
Probably.
You're pretty well spot on with that. Like most of the things around here, there is no limit on.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
if a guy wants to, he can go fill an entire freezer full of walleye in one day, and you might make some of the walleye guys mad, but there's nothing illegal about it.
Hmm.
any chance you could transport that back to Minnesota?
Yeah, fillets you can.
Yeah?
Yeah,
not gonna
fillets you'd be able to.
Yeah.
Be tough getting through South Dakota like that.
You
Most
ship
of
it.
the guides have a somewhere between a 10 and 15 fish limit per person,
Yeah.
Sure.
just so that
You gotta
they can
preserve
kind of
the
preserve
fishery.
their fishery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. That's the same thing in Cascade Lake in Idaho for perch. Is there's no limit on perch, and you can go catch a 1.5 pound perch,
Sure.
as many as you want,
Yeah.
and nobody does.
Wintertime
anything
is
about it.
wintertime is when we go do our perch fishing. Mark, the other guy that's watching, he's a very very adamant perch fisherman come wintertime, but there's no limit. There's people that'll go out and fill a 5 gallon bucket with 8-9 inch perch all day long, which is about our typical size here.
Oh, you catch the big nice perch on the Columbia as well.
Yeah, they're usually in the backwaters in December time when they're coming in to spawn.
Have you fished Cascade yet?
I have not. I haven't fished. I don't think any of Idaho actually.
It's hard to catch a perch under like 12 or 13 out there. Sometimes it feels like
Man, that'd be so much fun.
it is, but the lake's kind of dwindling a little over the past few years when we've gone out there, and I finally got my biggest out there was I got a 2.2 that was 16 inches.
Jeez.
And I finally
Jeez.
put one on the wall. My buddy's got a 2.14
You gotta put that on
and
the
a
wall.
2.15. Yeah, I mean, then the state record was broken by some Wisconsinites. I talked to him the day they broke the record. It was 3 pounds, almost 4 pounds, but it was huge.
Oh my
Good
gosh.
Lord, that is
And,
a massive perch.
Talked to him at the gas station, and they recognized me from YouTube, and they're like, "Hey, you do this and this." I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Nice to meet you." And he's like, "We're here and here." And then I got a text from him when I got off the plane. He's like, "We just broke the state record." It's crazy. Huge.
That's
fish.
insane.
You and your fellow state record holders just have this little
Right.
chat
Well, I have
going
his
on.
state record,
Right.
and he has the Idaho state
They
record.
did not recognize him from YouTube.
Yeah,
Only from
everyone-
Beach Street.
I signed autographs.
You guys, it actually happens. It actually happens.
That is true. I get a
And
lot of
it's
guys.
annoying.
I had a lot of guys ask me if it was true about CAC, and I go, "Yep." A lot
No.
of kids ask him to sign. He signed a lot of caps, man.
I know.
Who
like
has?
I like doing it.
Oh yeah,
Little
Yeah.
kids like
We
me.
look
They
like-
don't know any better. That's
we
why
look-
they have me do it.
yeah. They don't care, dude. They don't care. Even when they're eating, they don't care.
No,
Hilarious.
that's
You
true
really
too.
do.
That kid did not care.
So, what do you think about Rick's rods? I mean, what are the features that you like about them?
I really like that long handle.
Whoa, that wasn't towards you.
Well, to be fair, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
You like
I'm
how
just
thick
thinking
it
all the
is?
times I've had to like grab like the non
The non-handle
the
part.
pole part, and I've seen Tara do it plenty of
I
times too on
know.
those big fish.
And now, Rick,
Yep.
that was
And,
part
then-
of your
and that's
feature,
like
right?
a leverage thing, you know. The
100%.
further your hand is
I
up,
mean, even
and
fighting,
I mean, what's
fighting
the point of
regular-
having just a pole there anyway? Why not have some handle?
Yeah.
even the lake sturgeon here, they don't fight like catfish. A lot of the time you're spending both hands on your rod, letting it pull drag until it gets tired, and having that longer handle for us. And Wes could speak a lot more to it. 'cause
But
he-
Sure.
you designed this specifically for sturgeon.
yeah, that's it's
specifically
SS
for-
stands for sturgeon.
Sturgeon.
Yeah, we're looking at one, or at least I am right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, Wes,
On the
you
wall.
caught I think a 96
And it
on
definitely looks like
Um,
you
what
could
do you
fit
think?
2 hands above the reel, and just
I
crank.
think the biggest that I've caught on it so far is a 99, and that's actually the biggest this year so far. And there was a point that lasted quite a while in that fight where the line was between the first and second eye was under the rod blank. And this is a bait casting setup.
Yeah. So like the rod was so bent that the line was on the
That's
other side.
scary. But
I mean,
awesome.
but there's nothing you could have really done. Well, you also really put it to the fish. Like I've never seen somebody who really
Reefing on
just,
it.
oh yeah.
Well,
he caught an 83 when I was out there with him just after I caught my 86, and it took him like 10 minutes, and it took me like 30 minutes to
Oh,
catch
yeah,
my
it's a
fish.
skill to get those.
so not to discredit anything with Rick's hooks, because that's what I use, but I pull on fish hard enough that I've bent 6/0 hooks.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll happen when you cinch drag on a heavy drag reel. I mean,
Really?
Right.
What was that reel that I really liked, the Daiwa you had? What was the model on that one
It's-
again?
It's a Daiwa Saltus 2-speed.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I bet it's a Saltus.
Yeah, that was a really
Yeah.
sweet reel.
You caught a 99-pound fish on a
99
6-odd
inch.
hook.
99
Usually-
99 inch.
So
8
way
odd.
over 300
On a
pounds.
6-odd hook.
So I think it was an 8/0 in that case.
Fucking right.
99 would be 450, wouldn't it?
Well,
go?
we were just talking about your 14-odd hook or whatever you're coming
Yeah,
out
Wes
with.
is excited to have some leaders with those on him soon.
14
Yeah.
knot.
Looking
14
forward to
knot.
that.
Yeah, we
That
used to
99 probably would have been about 350, 375 pounds roughly. It was
Okay.
it was a really round fish.
Yeah,
I think it was one of the pictures that I had sent over with Rick.
Was that a shark?
No, that was the sturgeon.
You know what's ironic?
White
So-
sturgeon, Dan.
And they look like
The
sharks.
first- in the
350
video?
pounds?
The
No,
first,
Yeah, no, you're talking about the video, right?
so the
Nice.
video, so there's when the
99
first day we were
inches
fishing
was
out there,
fucking
we
8'3".
were fishing on the Columbia, and my girlfriend's mom caught the first fish. And it was a
You guys
71 by what was it, 32 or something, Wes? And when it came up, she actually
That sounds
said,
about
"Is that
right."
a shark?" She said, "Is that a shark?" She
Yeah.
actually
You guys want to see the video?
How big do they get?
What?
You want to see the video?
Yeah, let's
okay,
watch
So
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
one of my buddies that we actually fished next to when Rick was out here, Charles Witt, Broken Back. He was down there today. They landed a 10-footer this morning.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
So what's that, about 600-pound fish? More?
I didn't actually do the math on it. It was 10 foot and 55 inches round. So it'd be 120 inches by 55 divided by 12.
I could do that math real
Jeez.
quick.
I want to catch a
Let me-
100 inch.
I'm gonna go ahead and play that video. So this is kind of a little long. It's a little long because I put all of Rick's videos back to back on this.
That'd have been a 550-pound
Let's
fish.
go with it.
Okay, so I'm gonna play it real quick. here.
This is mind-blowing.
We'll we need to move. So that's Rick's mother-in-law or girlfriend's mom.
You're real close now.
I think our mics are muted.
So listen to what she said.
Yeah. So she's on a 2-speed reel. She's got a bad wrist too.
Oh my God! Look at
Oh,
Oh my God!
that's a white snake.
Oh my God!
Yeah, monster.
What's that? Probably about a 6-footer.
Rod down.
I was spot on that guess, by the
You
way.
got another rod going behind you there?
No, we had.
You wanna
could
do
fish
this?
one rod a person out
Yeah,
there.
you
You can hear
do this. I
someone
don't-
saying rod down.
Oh my God!
I think I was telling somebody not
Oh.
to step on it.
Oh,
I think we pulled up all the rods for that fish.
All right, Wes is hooked up.
That was the 83, I believe, that he caught right after I caught my 86.
jumping.
Oh,
Oh!
Oh no, wait, that's the one I
Oh.
lost, isn't it?
Did you really?
Oh no, that was your 83.
Is the clicker for dramatic effect?
Just to help pay attention.
Edit out that clip later.
It gives you
It
an
looked
idea
like a
how
nice
much
fish. I
line
didn't
you're
get a
losing.
good look at its size, so I was looking at my phone.
About 5.5.
It ended up being what, almost 7? I think it was.
He's jumping again.
Oh no, wait, this
Right
was
at
the
the
one
boat,
on
probably
the snake.
too, huh?
Yeah, he's jumping again. Watch.
Oh gosh.
This was on the Snake River on Sunday.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I got a good one. That was a good one too. Started out.
Airborne.
You can actually see the cliff walls back there. It was a really cool place to fish.
wow.
Nice.
Probably the prettiest place that we fished down there. I kind of thought.
Oh, cool, Chewy. Nice edit.
We were all muted that whole time.
I
just so
know.
you guys know.
No, you weren't muted at all.
What? 100% were.
You weren't.
It says mics are muted.
Yeah.
Could y'all hear us during that video?
You guys weren't muted.
Yeah.
Were you?
It always mutes when a video plays, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Can
heck
you
of a
guys
trip.
hear us talking when the videos are playing? Somebody confirm.
Yeah.
I
tell what,
can.
Oh yeah, we could hear you too, but
Yeah.
I
Maybe.
couldn't hear him at all.
Huh.
I could hear Rick.
But yeah, that was
Well,
a heck of a trip. I mean,
yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Pedro.
Was that your first time? Oh, okay. Was that your first time white sturgeon fishing?
oh yeah,
It
No,
was.
yeah. I mean, I was going out there with I'd never met Wes in person before, but we talked on the phone quite a bit. Like
Yeah.
every week, actually probably 2 or 3 times a week. We'll end up bullshitting while he's tying leaders or I'm packing hooks, and have a couple beers while we chit chat. And always like to hear because he's putting people on big sturgeon almost every week. And
Yeah.
what about yesterday? You want to talk about yesterday at all, Wes?
Dude, yes, yesterday was probably one of the best days of fishing that I've ever had.
Tell them about the people that were in your boat with you.
So I had my uncle with me yesterday. They had hit him and his buddy had hit me up about a month and a half ago wanting to go sturgeon fishing, and I been kind of waiting for the weather to die off a little bit. We have a lot of spring winds that make planning a trip kind of difficult. Our river is really wide. There's portions of it that are 2 miles across, and when it gets even 5 miles an hour upriver, it can get pretty ugly.
Mm.
But my uncle is in his mid 70s, and his buddy that was with us he's probably mid 50s or so. And I've been checking the weather, and we had this date planned for a little while. And I was like, "Hey, dude, the wind is looking fantastic. Do you want to go down to the Dalles? Like the fishing should be amazing." Because I've had buddies that have said the fishing's good down there. We were down there the prior week, and the fishing was pretty good. So we go, and it kind of started out slow. We ended up catching a couple smalls right out the beginning of the day, and then I hooked into another one and passed it off to my uncle. And at the time that I hooked it, generally I can tell if it's going to be a good fish or not. But this one seemed like it was kind of small, so I didn't think too much of it. Had all the lines down still. I was like, yeah, it'll be cool. Just reel it up, no problem. It's probably 4 or 5 foot fish. I see the line start coming up, and I was like, all right, so it's going to get ready to jump. I look back, and there's a 9 foot fish fully airborne behind the boat, like 75 yards.
Oh. Oh.
And it ended up spitting the hook, so we never actually got to play with that one. But we kind of battled to find a couple spots, but we ended up going up, because we have deadlines here where we just can't go past. The spawning grounds are in effect right now, so they close off between the dam down to a set point for the fish spawning grounds. And we were fishing up pretty close to the deadline, and we were getting some bites, but we were just out. Like, the fish were non-committal. They wouldn't stick with the bait long enough for a good hook set. So I decided, well, let's just stay up by the line, but we'll bounce over a little bit more, see if we can find either a little better current or maybe a current seam or something. We made another anchor drop, and it was just an instant change. And we caught probably 6 or 7 fish, somewhere between 30 and 60 inches or so. And then I hooked into my 97, and it just happened to come when it was my turn for the rod. And that fish ended up taking us downriver about 2 miles. That was on a full shad, which we have American shad here. They're 14 to 16 inches typically. Use a 12-aught hook, and that fish ate one of those and jumped 10 times. One of the times happened to be, I bet its nose was no more than about a foot from the boat.
That's awesome.
And 2 miles it brought you downriver?
2 miles.
That's awesome.
So we ended up getting this fish to the beach, took some pictures, got it released. I think I sent Rick some of those pictures.
I think I shared one of those with you, Chewy. It was the
Did
one
you?
where he's out of the water.
Yeah.
He's on the beach.
No
Yeah,
wonder nobody-
there's some real ripply looking beach in the bottom of the water.
Nobody.
But so
no
we ended up-
wonder nobody walleye fishes over there.
So we ended up going back up, getting back on anchor, and it was good enough of a bite where I was like, man, I got to go live. So I went live on Facebook last night for, I think it was just about an hour. And right out of the gate, I went live and the fish just kind of shut off for like 15 minutes. And I was kind of bummed out
Classic.
for a hot minute. And
That's how
then it
always
just,
works, though.
Yep.
like,
how
it
it
just
always
turned
works.
back on. We ended up catching, I think, 2 or 3. Then we hooked up with a double. Then we had a couple, 2 or 3 more singles, then hooked up another double. And then it was a small piece of shad out. Looked like a regular old bite. Normally big fish have kind of a little bit more distinctive bite. The rod tip moves a lot further, but this just seemed like a regular old fish. And I reached over while holding the phone in the other hand and set the hook, and it immediately started running.
Mm.
So I passed it off to my uncle's younger buddy. He was mid-50s or so, and he's like, it's going. And I turned the clicker on so I could kind of hear everything that was going on while we reeled up the other rods. We got kicked off the anchor. I looked up just in time, and I was still live. Looked up just in time to see that fish jump, and I figured it was 7.5 foot. So we chased this fish, and it led us down actually past where the other fish went, and that one jumped twice. The first time was way out, and it was hard to get a real good look at it. The second time was 40 feet in front of the boat, and at that time we had, I think, 3 jet skis, 1 other boat, and then
Oh,
another
gosh.
pontoon boat going around us, all watching us fight this fish.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah, we ended up spending 13 hours in the water yesterday fishing. It was just so good, it's hard to leave.
Oh, I know how that goes.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we spent the last day when we were down there. I think we were out there for almost 12 hours too.
Something close to that, yeah, man. When it's hard, they're that good. It's hard to leave.
Oh, for sure. I was exhausted and I still didn't want to leave. Like I mean,
Did you talk about the time after you caught your 86 where you're like, please don't be a big fish, please don't be a big fish, please don't.
no,
be a
I
big
didn't.
fish."
So I told Wes like the next few bites are yours, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm just not ready to do it. And then finally you're like, dude, you've had enough time. Like set the hook. Because I think you were actually were you fighting a fish?
I think I was on a fish.
I think so too. And yeah, and I'm literally going to set that. I'm going to set the hook. Like, please don't be fucking big. Please don't. and I think I actually had missed that hook set, and it wasn't intentional. But
Yeah.
I wasn't that disappointed.
That was like when we were on the Snake River last year, and we got 6 over 7 feet in like 3 hours.
You beat up.
And I'm just like, I hope my next one's small because I don't want to do it anymore. They just whoop me. Butt.
Do you have any of that video, Chewy, of when I was fighting that bigger fish? Because I think everybody, the thing that was awesome, like Wes was driving the boat trying to keep I mean, we were dealing with 30-mile-an-hour gusts of wind, maybe even more.
20 to 30. Yeah, it was up there. It was
pretty
blowing
nuts.
upriver too.
It was pretty nuts. And like, I mean, we had probably 3
What's
foot
the
rollers.
name of your
No, I don't.
rig tying company?
Dream Catchers Fishing. I don't know if you guys can see.
Oh, yeah.
Dream
Okay.
You wouldn't mind talking to you about getting some Minnesota appropriate leaders in here. And also, so West ties fluorocarbon leaders for my brand as well. So I have 18-inch fluorocarbon, 50-pound fluoro snelled circle hooks that he ties for me. Does a really, really great job. And we try to.
I don't have any samples of those with me right now. But
Yeah, I left them, but they're on my website. So some of his ice fishing leaders are on my website too, along with I think we have a braided cat leaders on there, 24-inch braided cat leaders on there too right now.
Oh, awesome.
pretty sure. And I think we have some West Coast, what we call West Coast sturgeon leaders, mostly
We do.
because out here they have to be barbless.
Hey, Luke.
Hmm.
He's got braided
Yeah,
24-inch catfish leaders.
Yeah, I think you use 150 pound for that, or 130.
Jesus Christ, look.
150.
Yeah, they're just super sweet. Chewy,
Don't you?
I'll bring some
I'm
by.
used to 8.
I have some at home. I'll bring some by so you can check them out.
Sounds good. I'm gonna show some pictures here real quick, and you guys can talk to this.
Perfect.
Look at that band. I like that rod band.
These anything 8/0 and above with my leaders is tied with 300-pound braid.
Sweet.
Oh,
that
that's
was
cool.
so. That was the day when we were down at the.
That's a
Dalles.
fantastic picture.
Yeah,
It was
wow.
just fish after fish
It's
after
like
fish.
camo with the boat.
right? It
And that
looks-
was Wes's.
betcha.
That was Wes's 83. Luis got him those mints because just a Minnesota thing. Thought it was kind of cute.
oh, you got to go back to that first picture.
Oh my
The
gosh.
kid in a candy store right
Oh,
there.
That's beautiful.
Oh man.
Yeah, those fish. It's one of those things I just can't ever get tired of because every one of them's different. They all, some of the scoots on the shorter ones are sharp. Some of them aren't. You can
Yeah.
see the little
Yeah.
like graduation lines back there by the rear fin up on top. They're so beautiful.
And the patterns on their faces sometimes are just incredible too.
Right.
No, he's just
I
wearing
think there was
that-
another picture coming ahead that had a good picture of the top of the head too.
He's
Yeah.
wearing that
Oh, yeah.
fish smile. My
Oh,
wife
yeah.
calls it the fish smile.
Yup.
There's nothing more special than holding a sturgeon. It's just, I told Wes first fish I caught, I hoped it would be just big enough that we could take it out of the water, but not so big that we couldn't. And I got my
Right.
wish. My first fish that weekend was about a 50-inch, I believe, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What is-
Yep,
what does that
somewhere in
say?
that neighborhood.
You betcha.
It says
You
you
betcha.
betcha. It's
Mm.
cute, Chewy.
Yeah, because
Okay.
down there or out there, I should say, you can't take a fish over 55 inches at the fork out of the water.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, those
Yeah,
white
our fish
sturgeon
are measured
very
to the
cool.
fork too.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of when
So
we're
the-
in. Go ahead.
So
That was,
Wes's
that's
fish.
that's the one from yesterday.
Yeah.
That's
Holy
That one went-
amazing.
That one went 97 inches and took an hour and a half to pull up to the boat.
Oh.
Congratulations, buddy. That's fucking awesome.
Wow.
And this is Wes, and he's a diesel mechanic for a living. I mean, if it would have taken me 2.5 hours to get that fish. to the
Wonder
boat.
why his
Yeah.
hands were so dirty.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right?
I had
I just
blisters
got
on
off
my
work.
thumb and my left hand. when I was fighting like
That's
Finally,
a
somebody
sweet
has-
pic.
You're
Worse
holding
hands
your
than me.
hand in front of the camera earlier. I was like, yeah, he's a carpenter. or something.
Oh, that's a sweet pic.
Yeah,
Wow.
Just bent over.
yeah.
Yeah.
The rods, the Apex Predator rods, they really have a good, really good action to them. They load up to the whole blank. It's really
Dude,
nice.
yesterday my buddy that was catching that fish, it was the same rod that you used with that pin that has
Oh, the
relatively
pin-
low line on it. Like it
the
doesn't
pin
have a
squall.
lot of line.
Was
Yeah.
that the pin squall
Dude.
rod. I just wasn't
Yeah.
a huge fan of that level wind reel. I just didn't love it that much.
Hmm.
The drag's low on it. They're beat too. They've seen 2 years of abuse.
And a lot of abuse.
But no, he was thumbing the spool with both hands and not letting that fish move.
Ouch.
Yeah, I was trying to do the same thing, and I started it felt like I was getting rug burn on my thumb, and I looked at it, it was starting to blister up, and I'm like, holy
Ugh.
shit. And then I still have blister on my left hand from holding the rod.
Yeah.
I mean, that fish just beat the crap out of me.
He does. I just saw
Even
it.
that fish that I caught, that 97, like my hands are rough and tough from working and whatnot, but there was a few points in that fight where I was looking at my hands like, where's the blisters? Because they're gonna show up.
Yeah, for sure. Especially an hour and a half. Like, I only caught
Dude,
my
it
fish
was
for like-
brutal.
And an hour and a half fighting a fish feels like 3 hours too.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
It really does.
Like,
you catch-
Even right now, I still don't have the grip that I typically do from just holding on to the rod and reel on that fight.
I couldn't imagine, dude. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. I remember my
It was
amberjack
wild.
in Florida. It was like 40 minutes. Well, how long was that fight? 40 minutes? It felt like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
and then even my first white sturgeon, I remember there were a few moments that I was like scared. I was like, this fish is like actually stronger than me, and it was terrifying. But yeah,
When they-
adjust and you figure it out. But I mean, my gosh.
There was a point in the video that I put up on Facebook where the fish that I was fighting the 86 just took off, and I couldn't even thumb the spool. And
Yeah.
it just went, and I was just like, when are you going to stop? Are you going to stop?
Right.
And of course
Motor
it-
on.
Yeah, it's mine.
I've seen some videos from Charles where he's got, a 10 and a half foot on where they are no joke. They're running for a solid 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what the reels he
It's
has.
ridiculous.
I know. It feels like
Yeah,
you
he's
just
using
never get
Talic. He's using Shimano Talicas and Phoenix rods.
Yeah, what's that, about $1,000 setup?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So the reels that he uses, I saw them. They're probably about the size of my head. I mean, and they're what
Shark reels?
three speed reels? They are shark reels.
Oh,
They're-
okay.
they're a 2-speed. He's got them spooled with 150. I think it's 150 pound Daiwa J-braid.
Okay.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible rods. But I will say that having a slightly lighter action, like on my rod and your new spiral wrap rod, it makes the fishing a lot more fun when you're catching stuff that's only 40, 50 pounds.
Right.
Makes a
There was
big
a few There was a few fish the other day that were like in the 50-inch range that ate a whole shad. It was like 14 inches.
Really?
Yeah.
We couldn't buy a bite on a whole shad when I was down there fishing with you.
This is, well, remember we were using, like Charles had said, we were using shad that had been in the freezer and wasn't fresh. I was using all
that's
fresh
right.
bait yesterday.
True. I forgot about that difference. And we were starting to get more bites after Charles gave us that shad.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Well, it's
When I
great
was
to
getting
have-
ready to leave, there was a guy that was anchored up, and I rolled up next to him. I said, "Hey, do you want some shad?" And I don't know if you're using it or not. He's like, "Oh, I'm just using squid right now." So we got to talking, and I guess Charles had talked to him about my leaders, so he was kind of aware of the business, and we BS'd a little bit, and I passed him some shad and a couple leaders, and right as we went to leave, he was reeling up to change his bait. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
I love
awesome.
that.
That's good
Sportsmanship.
karma headed right your
Oh
way.
yeah.
Man.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
there's nothing
Right.
like some good old sturgeon fishing stories.
Yeah.
Right.
But we appreciate both of you guys coming on. We're kind of running out of time here, but Apex Predator, where do people get in touch with you and your gear?
So you can go to my website. It's apexpredatormn.com. You can contact me directly through the site, but you can buy everything. One thing to note, shipping is like $5 for most items. If you add items, like it usually only adds $1 or nothing to it. It ships by weight. So if you get a couple packs of hooks and a bump board and maybe a fishing reel, your shipping's only gonna be like $8.
Yeah, if you're local, you can call in here and you might have some of the stuff you want too. So
Yeah, so I know that Chewy has my rattles and hooks. He also has the spinning reels, the rods, hats. I dropped off hats and t-shirts today. Really, so this is one of my hats. They're pretty sweet. This one's actually about 1.5 years old, and I've done nothing except wipe it off with a paper towel, and it looks basically brand new. And
That's a sweet hat.
I fish in it like probably twice a week.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Nicole for dropping them off.
Yeah, thanks Nicole for not dropping them off. I want to add.
and Wes, where do people go to find your stuff?
So they can either get at me through Facebook or Instagram under the business name Dreamcatchers Fishing, or if they're familiar with the Apex Predator website, they can also go there.
And feel free if you guys are friends with me on Facebook and you want to try some of Wes's leaders, just send me a message. I'll put you in touch with him. He does completely custom stuff for anybody. So if you want something specific, he'll do it just for you.
Perfect.
Absolutely, as long as it's hooks that I've got in stock, I'll absolutely tie it. And for most of the small orders, just a few liters or so, up to about usually 6, I'll for the most part ship them for free. After that, it comes to a point where I have to charge for shipping just because of the weight. But
Sure.
Well, we appreciate you. We
coming on, man.
appreciate you coming in here. It was good talking with you. Good sturgeon chat. I love a little sturgeon action. So, and OG Burnout wants to know if the campground's looking great. So come on down.
And Lily says hi, everyone in chat.
Lily wants to
And we released a new video today. It's how to tie a flathead rig. It's super simple.
Oh
Not,
yeah, rods and
not
reloads.
complex. It's mostly for people that don't flathead fish. It's just a simple Carolina
It's
rig
how to
setup.
do a Carolina rig.
Pretty simple. And the dog's telling us we got to be done. So
Wes, I'll holler at you
Well,
after I get home.
we'll
and
have the
get a beer crack.
information
All right.
of you guys, both
Sounds
you guys'
good, buddy.
businesses
Yeah,
in
we'll be in chat
the
with you.
Thanks,
in
Wes.
the
And
comment
forget
of the video.
about your cool video.
My pleasure.
See ya.
There
Bye,
it is.
everybody.
Look at that. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Not a problem. Thank you.